Another one.
We the best.
Teaser Tuesday.
Oh, man, that was fancy.
Tuesday, let's go.
We get new chairs in here on a Monday and new graphic on a Tuesday. What are they going to do with us for tomorrow? I don't even know if there's anything else they can do. Are we going to walk into like just crumble cookies everywhere? Is that what's going to happen? Because that's about the only thing we could do to make this better.
I got to tell you, I'm losing my mind right now. That was fantastic. Well done, crew.
We should probably have one of those now for every single region.
And I'm glad that we had
just like every single region.
I'm glad that we had Ryan's stoic voice there, though, saying Teaser Tuesday instead of this Teaser Tuesday that we had before. It just doesn't have the same ring to it.
Don't you think we need one like every single time we come back in, though? Like I kind of think.
Yeah, we gotta get. We're gonna start working out.
Even if we don't have anything planned to talk, and just be like, here's random sports betting talk, or boom, and then like that would be amazing too. I like that too much. I like that too much.
That said, Teaser Tuesday, and we're so fortunate, so blessed to be on the desk with the teaser extraordinaire himself, Matt Brown.
We've been winning at such a high rate so far.
We're just going to pretend that the Rams one didn't happen, okay? And blame Matt Stafford, blame Matty Ice for the pick six. That's all I can say. But there are some options this week.
There are. There's a plethora of options this week. There is so many different options.
What is with you with the accents today? There's a plethora.
That's from it's from.
I don't know that quote.
It's from Three Amigos. Anyway, that's probably before your time. Do you know Three Amigos, the movie? No, not really. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Is that the one with Steve?
Yeah, there you go. And Martin, and look at all that.
I know what's up.
And Chevy. Are you just naming everyone by their first name? You're just naming everyone by their first name.
Go on.
Yeah. So look, if the Packers 8 right now, 8.5 in favor over the Giants. We don't even know what the quarterback situation is going to be. It doesn't look good for Daniel Jones, so it looks like it's going to be Davis Webb. I mean, listen, I understand it was a sweat this past week with the Packers to get the teaser cover over the Patriots, but this is a worse version of the situation even than what the Patriots were rolling out, because at least with Brian Hoyer, he's had some game experience. What I understand, they had to go to Bailey's Happy at some point, but like at least you knew going into that, it's like, hey, look, Brian Hoyer's at least got game experience. This is going to be a complete disaster if Davis Webb has to go in this game, and it looks like it is, because, I mean, again, they are bringing in guys to work out, and typically you're not bringing in dudes to work out if you think that your starter is going to be able to go because you've already got a backup. So it's like this seems like the writing's on the wall here, that it's not going to be Daniel Jones, and so it would shock me if the Packers here, even with it being overseas, like it's not I know they're listed second, but it's not a home game. It's over in London. It would shock me if they can't get this done by at least a field goal. So I like this leg. This leg's already
second week in a row. They get backup quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, this is the greatest. This is like the worst thing ever for our Vikings bets, and just the greatest thing for all these Packers believers. They've gotten such a cake stretch here, and they're gonna win the division again, and our tickets are gonna go down, and whatever. But it is what it is. So that one's a very.
So if that's a leg you feel confident in.
Very, very good leg. And then, like, how could I ever argue against playing the Vikings as 7-point favorites? You could take that down to 1 against the Bears. The Bears are absolutely putrid. I mean, this team is complete garbage. And if you look, they're just not even. They're not a team that is built to win by 2 scores at all.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. When you throw the ball as little as they do, and when you play as slow as they do, and it's impossible almost for them to win by 2 scores. And so if you want to play the Vikings, I think that is a very, very attractive leg as well. I imagine they are going to be in a million teasers this week.
The one that I liked, and maybe you don't, but same number there, but the Jags at home taking on the Texans, bringing that one down, I feel like was a good look, because the Texans have just been, I mean, every time I think that they're on their way up, they just go back down, and to have such an injured Chargers team still take advantage of them the way that they did. Justin Herbert, by the way, did not look injured at all.
No. And this Texans team,
but the Texans are not good.
Come back down to earth.
And the Jags are good.
Yeah.
And even though they lost this past week against the Eagles are the best team in the National Football League at this point, and the Jags are good. Like, I like them. All you have to do is win the game. Feels good.
Yeah, and this one already in the account. Here's the thing. The Texans, they've come back down to earth. Davis Mills came at the end of last year, provided like at least a little bit of a spark, and we kind of thought, okay, maybe he can do something this year. He has been atrocious.
So I was one of those people. I had a lot of optimism about Davis Mills coming into this game because of the reasons that you just stated. And then especially week 1, you have a game with the Colts that we were under the, clearly now we know, incorrect impression that Indianapolis was going to be very good. And they walk away with the 2020 tie in that game. And so I'm like, okay, even though this was kind of an ugly game, they're competitive and against a team that's really, really good. And now they're
been horrible.
3-1, and it's been rough.
He's been horrible. And you look at this Jags team, and I honestly believe when it's all said and done, unless injuries play a huge role in this, I think this Jags defense is going to be a top 10 defense in the NFL with like an upside of like top 5-6. Like there's a lot of playmakers on this defense, and I think if these younger guys just continue to get better and better as the course of the season goes along, like I think this has legitimate top 5-6 upside for this defense for the Jags. And so the other thing about this Jaguars team is it's just horrible for this Texans squad as well. And the reason why this is a fantastic teaser leg and everything else this week is Jags are about the healthiest team in the entire NFL. They've had no major injuries whatsoever. Like every single team has had someone go down. This Jags team's like rolling everyone out there. They're just like they're jam boxing.
My one question about Jacksonville this week: do we know the weather report? Is it going to be rainy or is it going to be okay? Because clearly they haven't done any wet ball drills based on what I saw last week.
Yes,
Trevor Lawrence.
This is true. This is true. Trevor Lawrence is doing the whole thing like they do, and in college where he has to walk around with a football all week long.
The program.
Yeah. He has to walk around with a football all week long, and they're like, everyone's trying to make him fumble it, and if he does, then he's got to do like extra drills. But this is just a perfect. This is so. I mean, again, this is so perfect for this Jackson. This defense is going to feast against the Texans.
Any interest in the Chiefs just to beat the Raiders, bringing the 7 down?
Yeah, dude, that number is short. And we're already, now we've seen a couple of 7.5s pop. I was going to say, like, the 7 was short as it was anyway. I thought this was more. This more should have been 8.5, and it probably will get there by the time this is all said and done. The Chiefs are just much, much better than the Raiders are. And if you look at what the Chiefs have been able to do, too, with just creating all this pressure, which came out of nowhere. I'm so wacky that we didn't see this coming. But they're creating all this pressure just with their front four. Derek Carr is not good under pressure at all. I mean, this has mismatch just written all over it. So yes, this one's super quality. And then the Bucs and the Falcons is another one. Like,
yeah, we mentioned that one already off the top, but I agree with you.
The Bucs at 8.5. I mean, like, it's just another one, right? I mean, you take that 8.5 down to 2.5. In this while the Falcons offense has looked at least somewhat serviceable, the defense has looked every bit as bad as we thought that they were going to be. And this is only going to be a little bit healthier version of the Bucs, right? Like, we didn't come out of that game with Chris Godwin getting re-injured. Julio was never really out there anyway. So like him not being out there this week doesn't matter anyway, right? Like, and he's their fourth. That's the thing. He's the fourth option as it is anyway. Russell Gage is the third option there for the Bucs. So
I wanted to throw something out here just to go back to the Raiders Chiefs real briefly because I was looking. I wanted to make sure I was right about the scores in their meetings last year. And ever since 2 years ago when the Raiders did that victory lap in the bus around after beating KC, they've just gotten torched last year. Results 41-14 and 48-9. The Chiefs have just dominated the Raiders ever since that happened 2 years ago. And I know the Raiders didn't have Devontae Adams then, but it's still not.
It's a long shot.
It's a long shot.
The one non-traditional out there, the 49ers, 6.5 right now, going to the Panthers. This might even get to 7. That one could be kind of the non-traditional teaser there, just basically getting the 49ers to win. That ground game alone, Jimmy Garoppolo shouldn't have to do anything in this game. This team, the Panthers are falling apart. They want the coach gone. They want the quarterback gone. The defense has been one of the most.
Baker Mayfield is so
The defense has been one of the
bad.
most disappointing in the NFL. I actually thought the defense would at least be okay, which would keep them in games, and they've been
Brian
bad.
Burns, they have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. They should be significantly better than they are, and it's been really hard to watch now.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.